So back to what I was saying. What I was saying.
What's up, friends, family, and fans? It is I, your boy, your homie, your ace, your most favorite dude in the world, Stone Stafford. And I am here with my ride or die, my ace,
Johnny Vaughn. What's goody?
Yo, welcome to Life On Podcast. This is where we listen and inspire friends
everywhere.
And today we have two special guests with us, Mr. Stevie Baggs Jr. and Ladell Hill, and we're going to be talking about Inside Out. What's up? I'm going to just do it just to get under your skin. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. So he hates when I say that, y'all, because we obviously take a little break, and then we come back. Don't they do that on TV? Absolutely. Thank you very much. But he's just mad because people don't go nowhere. So like I said, we got my man Stevie Baggs Jr. and we got Ladell Hill. I'm going to introduce you guys and y'all can kind of tell everyone a little bit about yourself and then we'll get into the topic. So Stevie Baggs Jr., this is our former NFL, CFL, GQ cover boy.
HBCU Hall of Famer.
Yeah. HBCU recent inductee, Hall of Famer. Yes. He's an actor, author, and a motivational speaker. What did he say in Five Heartbeat? What don't you guys don't do? But you might recognize him actually because he played Oliver. Right, in Tyler Perry's Ruthless, and then he also on Netflix's Cobra Kai, where he plays who? Andre?
Yeah, I think
I gotta go watch it. I haven't seen the episode of Cobra Kai. I gotta go watch it.
Yeah, it was short lived. Now the Ruthless when I was a series regular, but yeah, I was a day player on Cobra Kai. It was fun. It was fun.
And then on top of all that, he's making his mama proud because he's also an author of the book Woke, as well as Greater Than the Game.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, homie.
Hey, man, thanks for the hospitality. Speaking of Woke, I brought you a copy, man, so you can check it out.
I see he walked in here with one copy.
Hey, listen, y'all might have to bust it down. You know what I'm saying? When you take your break, he was talking about, you take the book and then you come back on break.
Gangsters, they walked in the thing and said, all right, point to the boss. Remember? I'm just kidding.
There it is.
Yo.
Who was the quiet one in the room when they came in, though? That's really what it is.
And then we also got my homeboy, Ladell Hill. This is what you call a quiet giant. Like, straight up. This is a lesson where if you don't know the name, it don't mean nothing. Like an atom is a small thing, but it's incredibly powerful. That's this dude right here, Ladell Hill. He is a certified, let me get my lips together, a certified holistic health practitioner with a concentration in molecular health.
Okay.
One time for the black folk.
Yeah.
He's also a celebrity fitness trainer and wellness trainer. You may have seen him on CNN. He's been on Fox News, Steve Harvey Show, radio and TV shows. Some of his past and present clients include Steve Harvey, Nelly, Lenny Kravitz, Carlos and Cindy Santana, Sanjay Gupta.
You did Sanjay?
Yeah, he's my buddy.
Sanjay over here telling us about our health, and he telling Sanjay.
Getting it from you. Okay.
And then other amazing people like Stone Stafford. And wait a minute. That's me. That's right. He is also my health and fitness coach, as well as Stevie's, and all that kind of stuff. So he's also the founder of the company Taste of Earth, and they manufacture this testimonially popular juice, which is basically half juice, half super salad. And it's a great thing. We're going to get into that later. But welcome, Ladell.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, man.
Man, happy to have y'all here. So look, we're going to be talking about Inside Out. And then I'm going to pass the mic. And the reason why this is so important to me personally is we have so many people who try to make changes in their lives, right? Whether it be aesthetically or their lifestyle or anything like that. But they tend to work from the outside in. And we all know that really if true change is going to happen, if it's going to stick, it really needs to start from the inside out. And that's been a very big thing in my life. But then when I met Ladell, he started breaking my health down on the whole molecular level. It just gave me a different insight on what was going on in my body, where when I'm working out, I actually have a vision of what my muscles and cells are actually doing. And believe it or not, I find out that I'm not even tired yet because I'm too busy picturing what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So,
like that.
yeah. And so Stevie's just freaking cranium king, but I like Stevie too because he's very in touch spiritually. We're all spirits at the end of the day. So the fact that, so these guys just speak my language. And you guys heard me and Johnny go back and forth on all these things. And I'm like, Johnny's a bit of a savant.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. Now, I ain't going to, but yeah, this is one of them dudes that know like a little bit about everything, like straight up on a real level. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
So let's dive into it, man. What you got?
I got nothing. We're going to jump
Really?
from you, man. Yeah.
Okay,
no.
so this whole Inside Out, why is that so important? Who wants to jump off? Y'all can start either one.
Well, I'll go because I want Big Brother to finish it off. I'll say we've been programmed and conditioned, socially engineered to look without. Whenever we even talk about the senses, it's only taste, touch, see, smell, hear. Those are all external things.
Right.
The most important senses are all invisible. I invisible. In. The most important words in the English language starts with I-N. Intellect, intimacy, integrity, insight, insecurities. It's not called out security. It's called insecurities. It's not called outergy. It's called energy.
Invest.
Come on, man.
What?
So consequently, once we get to that place, you're more grounded, and then you don't care about the outward as much. You just recognize that comes and goes as noise. The most significant thing is the inward. And when you do that, because we live three types of lives, and I'm gonna pass the mic. We live our
I was just listening to you, man, because I actually kind of enjoyed that when you was speaking about we living from the outside. That's what we living in today's time. And then you brought up a point where everything is really internal that you can't see. So what I saw is how you feeding your organs and cells on a molecular level, so you'll start seeing things from the outside.
Because whatever you're consuming is going to
be a
determine.
reflection of your
back out.
outside.
Yep.
All day
So
long.
if you're putting in something that's doesn't have a purpose, then you're going to put out something that doesn't have a purpose.
And it goes back to the everything for me. Everything that we get on the outside is dead. So the TV dead, the food is dead, the music is dead, the religions are dead, the governments are dead. So if then someone comes to
How
give
about
you
soda?
food, that's
soda
the food.
dead.
I mean that's the food. But you know, Stone. No, I mean, listen. I know we got to keep it light, but the people got to hear this.
No,
because-
go.
you ain't gotta
know,
keep it light.
Stevie, that was a dig at me, bro.
Oh, all right.
Can you please tell these brothers, don't faint, Ladell. Don't faint. Go ahead, man.
So this is So I have 2 reset cycles that I do a year where I cut all processed sugars. I cut my calorie intake all the way down, and I fast. I do 16-8, 24-0, 16-8, and I do that for 60 days. But when I'm not doing that, I enjoy what I eat. And
so
what Stone said he wasn't going to tell y'all was the
Right.
fact that I drink 1.5 to 2.5 liters of soda a day. However, I also drink 1.5 gallons of water.
As if that's
a day.
offsetting something.
So
So
it's. I honestly think that you live in your life how you see and what you feel. So when you see, just like Stevie was stating about if we are seeing things from the outside, when you see that soda, you're seeing it from the outside. You don't see what's going on in the inside and how it affects.
Oh, I absolutely know what's happening.
You may feel it,
feel
but you don't see it.
Well, you never see what's happening on the inside.
Yeah, but
that's
that's what Stone was talking about earlier when he was talking about working out and producing the nutrients. He could see his bones and structures and internally on a molecular level working.
yeah. He gets that imagination thing.
No,
It's
seriously.
it's serious.
No,
No, but it
absolutely.
is mind muscle connection is what I call it. When you have mind muscle connection, you don't work out no longer. You training
Right.
for health excellence.
Hey.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like regular people work out.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna just do a dumbbell set today. But the man who's over there concentrating, he does that turn to get that last little bit.
Yeah.
He's connected to something different. I'm not just doing a pull up and jerking. No, I'm locked in. So
Stevie,
so
you're telling our secrets, man.
No, but
saying.
wait a minute. Hold on. You unlocked something because what just went through my head. She said, you're no longer working out, you're training. Whenever you train, it's always for a purpose.
There you go.
And when you have even if it just starts with a vision, if you
Yeah.
say, okay, I know what
Yeah.
my mother, that's purpose.
So why is it impossible to do the same thing internally on a cellular level for a purpose?
Which is where it all starts anyway.
That's right.
No, it goes back to what Stevie said in the beginning. It's conditioning. From day one, we're started to condition to do. Our whole thing is from the jump. This is about entertainment. Entertainment in general is outward perception. What does this look like? What does it make me feel
100.
like? What does it make me? But it's not necessarily what am I gaining from it? How is it affecting me from the inside?
Right.
So from the age of 1 or 2 years old, we are conditioned to search outwardly for everything. So
Right.
that's why we're not able to do that.
No, it's
Right,
strong.
but
strong.
I know it's strong, but you have to still, in my view, I have to understand that that's the first start of what the mother's supposed to do is give something that comes from within to the baby, so it has that same process. But we change the narrative and give it man-made compounds where people don't understand it. When you put man-made compounds in your body, they can't even tell you what phase of the liver it affects and what phase is supposed to get rid of these man-made chemical compounds. And if you don't know that, why would you put something in your body that you don't know what's doing to phase 1 of the liver? Because it's required to break down man-made chemical compounds, but you slow down production of them as you age. So why would you want to keep causing harm?
But it goes back to what Stevie said too. When we talk about the senses, we only talk about the 5, right? And most people eat for feels. Right? And we always talk about people want to be happy. You've heard me say this before, like, don't pursue happiness, pursue joy. Because happiness changes with the external stimulus. Joy is the same thing, whether it's a storm or whether it's sunshine. Because it comes, that's why I don't call myself a motivational speaker. I call myself an empowerment speaker.
Yeah, and I told you I'm inspirational.
That's right. We talk about that because motivation will go as soon as you walk out the door. You know, that's your motive. Exactly. Right. Empowerment, power is the ability to make change. And that's something that's an ability that's in you. It's a tool. You know, you can have a hammer, whether it's sunny, whether it's a good day, whether it's a bad day, you still have that hammer. And that's why I want to empower. So instead of seeking happiness, seek joy, but you can't have joy until you start from the inside out.
That's right.
That's where joy comes from.
How are you going to have joy when everything inside you is disrupted? Your friendly bacteria in your gut, you eat certain things, you become allergic to it, you get sick. When you get sick, whatever sickness you have, if you're older than 30, it becomes self-perpetuating. So why not start something early? And that's in the gut, giving your body what it needs so you don't have these kind of conditions and control to want to have soda.
So, Stevie.
Wait a minute now. What we not going to do is make me feel all self-conscious.
I'm in the business, and Stone to tell you, I'm in the business of really empowering people internally. Because if I can empower someone internally, they'll make better choices externally.
Wow. No, that's very true.
So how does that work in your life? Because I want to kind of hear how you came up. Like, what's your kind of like your come up story?
Yeah, I mean, I came up traditional Southern young man. I mean, I'm from Pompano Beach, Florida, kind of country town, you know, by the beach. He said kind of.
I mean, I'm from that, so I can say,
you know,
beach don't make it not country. Right?
Yeah. And so, you know, I grew up super Christian, man. And I say super Christian, I'm talking about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Christian.
Oh, you was Barabbas at the
I'm
Sunday
talking
play. That's
about
what it was.
man. I couldn't listen to secular music, any of that. But then when I was able to come into where I'm at now through traveling, through mentors, through hitting my own head in life, and then recognizing that you have your own journey that you have to travel with your creator. And it can't be based upon, once again, anything outward. Because see, we'll hold on to tradition and won't open our hand to truth. We'll hold on to religion and won't open our hand to righteousness. So for me, when I decided...
Hold on, Stevie. Run that back one more again, brother. we don't want people to take that as semantics because there is a difference in what you just said. So break down what you just said.
So I'll give you an example of tradition instead of truth. If you respell the word Santa, is Satan. Easter bunnies don't lay eggs, chickens lay eggs. Halloween, like they take the brain of the pumpkin, they hollow your brain, and then they wean you in whatever direction they want you to go in. So if every day's a
you watching television, they telling lies to your vision. I had to do
No, that's real. That's real. And the reason why words are very important is because they manifest those seeds that are planted from within, and that manifests your reality. Yeah. And so you can play around with these words and think, I'm in mourning, and then you know, it's memes going around and saying, we tell people to say grand rising, grand awakening, you know, whatever. And they like, well, I've been saying morning. Well, it's spelled with a U in Canada and it's spelled with a O. Okay. Every vibration means something. Go look up what mourn means. When you go to a wake, you're mourning the dead. Grandma used to say rise and shine. I don't know. Grandma, she did a lot of things right.
My mom did it too. Rise and shine, give God the glory, glory.
That's right.
The whole song.
That's what brother, she knew something because they were connected to nature. The sun shines, the sun rises.
That's right.
And without God's sun rising, you have no way, no truth, and no life. They just told you it was Jesus.
Right.
I mean, you know, and that's bars, but it's real. Like, without the sun shining, there's no way, no truth, and no life. Nothing grows without the sun.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So we are at Pembroke Pines, or where are we?
Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach. I knew it was a P.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I went all the way.
No. I want people to know your journey, and both of y'all. How did you get to where you are?
Super Christian, man. My parents got a divorce. I was 14. I ended up going from an all-black environment in Pompano to an all-white high school in Altamont Springs, Florida. Shout out to Lake Brantley, Hall of Fame too. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. So then when I went to Lake Brantley, all white, boom, boom, everything. So you got to talk about the ebb and flows and the balance of like growing up all black, then going to all white high school, and how you balance that, then going back to a HBCU and kind of tying it all together, and then just playing 10 years in pro football. And, you know, I was a 3-time All-American at Bethune-Cookman. I was Black College Player of the Year. I won the same award as Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, and Michael Strahan. So I thought I was going first, second, third round, but my talent was greater than my maturity, my spiritual maturity. So I would have lost everything if I didn't go through what I had to go through by being on 11 teams in 10 years, going undrafted after all those accolades, but then to full circle go get put in the Hall of Fame in my high school, just got in the Black College Hall of Fame, going in the Hall of Fame in Bethune-Cookman. All of these things are all exterior things, though, but they came from an internal vision.
Right.
And once again, with the words you manifest, the things you say. So my consciousness was raised when I started playing pro football, and I found out that, my belief system gets trumped by my truths or my knowing system. Mm-hmm. So like right now, for me, I don't believe that God real. I know God real.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I don't have faith that y'all is real. I know y'all real. Mm-hmm. So like when I graduated from that, that's what got me once again more grounded to move forward.
I want to ask this because I when I went into my little diatribe and I was talking about how we're conditioned early on. I'm not sure we're going to get to what your upbringing was too, Ladell, but growing up in that type of faith-based system and that kind of being your foundation, and there's so much. I mean, we're seeing it spread now that more and more everyone is starting to be conditioned outwardly without that internal focus first. What is our real end? Like what was your foundational grounding to keep you from slipping out? Because one thing with pro sports, I never played pro sports, but I mean, being a sportscaster, like I was around it, I know what's out there. So the external stuff is there. The distractions are there. Everything is there to keep you from being able to internally focus on all of that. Whether it's what you eat, what you read, what you watch, what you hear. How do you maintain that internal mental? Like, what's your grounding? And then how do we share that to make that the new programming at 1 and 2 years old for everybody else?
Not to make joke of it, yeah. Whoopings for real.
Ladell, you say sit still.
Yeah, that's what I say. Sit still. I used to say that to you all the time. Still will. Sit still.
Yeah, because when you're moving so much, it's hard for you to hear what the Creator's saying to you, and the signs. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get these signs, to your point, growing up a certain way, you just conditioned to do that thing, right? And then you step outside of the norm of that, and your mind is blown. And so some people go all the way right, and some people go all the way left. So it's hard for a lot of people to get back in balance because it's rare to meet a person who has these three characteristics: to have spiritual balance, to have health and wellness balance, and to have economic balance. Usually you see a brother that's conscious, but he broke. Right. Dude got a 6-pack, but his credit score 350. Right. Dude just jumped out the Bentley, but he's shaped like a keg. So when you can tie all three though and have balance, economic, spiritual, and wellness, health.
So what you saying is you need a 350 credit score. You need a Toyota, and you need to be 350.
No, I caught that off the drill. No, but it's like
100% though. Like
that's real, man.
I think but it's kind of the same thing. Like you can never have cheap, fast, and good. You can never have good, cheap, and fast. Like it's those three things. So we're talking about an aspect of life.
Say that again. I have a feeling that went over some heads.
Okay, so let's talk about in commerce. You can have something cheap, but if it's cheap, it's either going to be bad,
or you can't have it
exactly. You can't have it fast and good. If you want to have it fast and good, it's not going to be cheap.
Come on.
If you want it to be good, it's not going to be fast, and it's probably not going to be cheap. See, it's almost
that.
Yeah, it's almost like driving a stick shift where you got the gas, the clutch, and the brake.
That's awesome,
You can't do all those things at the same time.
I think that's a great illustration. I have to use that in terms of health.
I was gonna say that's body all day.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. Like how we
body all day.
I think it transitions 100% to what you were saying before I interrupted it.
I mean,
how do we get that balance in those three different places that Stevie's talking about?
Right. So I'll give you just a personal example because Stevie's like my brother for real. I always used to talk to Steve and tell Stevie to just sit still because, Stevie's a major competitor and I can tell it in his spirit. He's a competitor and he's, that's just who he is. And certain energy can gravitate when you, especially when you have that kind of a light. But if you don't sit still, that can get on your body and because it will cause you to become very toxic. Everything around you will become toxic. You would think toxic. So you have to sit still. And when you sit still, that's when the creator will speak. We don't sit still. If we have an opportunity to sit still, we're probably going to turn on some type of music that's going to make our brain start thinking about some stuff you really don't have any reason, or it doesn't even really have a purpose sometimes if you listen to certain things without sitting still and being quiet. So that would be my recommendation for all of us out there. Sit still, let your mind rest.
And he does that a lot.
I know. Like being
a lot.
I bet.
Every time I turn around, he was like, all right, Stone. I said, we done with the workout? He goes, yeah. I said, what you about to do? I'm heading to the woods, man. Am I lying?
So that's what I was
Like, straight up. He was like, I'm headed to the woods.
What I was about to ask you was where. So this whole concept of like biophilic design is becoming a big thing. Like architects and designers are starting to design buildings to where it incorporates nature. Because one of the biggest things that we've started to find out just in corporate America, one, not only our conditioning from our youngest ages are outward. When we get into the world with our jobs, we're working in places, more than 60% of the people are working in places where they don't have natural sunlight.
Right.
There's no contact with the outside. You're not outside in the woods at all. So that's what I was going to ask. Where? It's not just sitting still. It's sitting still and being silent.
Right.
Where?
So for me, you have to make time for yourself, because if you don't make time for yourself, no one else will. So these environments that you're going into, and they have a lot of light, natural sunlight, a lot of plants, things like that. You have to understand it's alive, it's living. It's just exactly what Stevie was talking about, what's living and what's not and what's dead. So if you're in a dead environment, someone out there I don't know if it's the energy or what, but we are dying society. I don't know if you really pay very much attention to chronic and debilitating illnesses that's plaguing this country today. That means that we're dying. You know what I mean? So it's becoming less and less, and I don't want to spook anyone, less and less of us.
The truth has to be scary.
Right, less and less of us are being healthy and able to go the ages of our grandparents.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because estrogen is out of control in black men. Let's just face it. We're the leaders in prostate issues. So it's something to be said about that. When you have this many abnormalities as a culture, we doing something wrong, man.
So how'd you get here? I mean, you're talking all this stuff or whatever. Like, what was your journey like from growing up? What were your parents like? I know your grandfather. Well, yeah.
I grew up with a grandfather that couldn't read, write, or drive. Just a team of mules and a tractor in a small town in Lebanon, Tennessee, with a big, huge Confederate soldier in the middle. And he used to go into the middle of the town with a shepherd dog. And I used to sit up there as a child and watch him give herbs to white people and everyone that would take it. And back then, it wasn't, but he was accepted. So,
and that was because he brought something that they weren't able to bring themselves.
Was your grandfather Indian?
Well, he had some, like all of us blacks out there. We all
okay.
got
I wasn't sure if he was
but
I think there's something to be said about that, to be honest with you.
Obviously, most of the blacks today, we got some kind of Native American in us. So, I tell you, the last time I did an interview, and I did say that, everyone called my mom, and she's like, I don't know what tribe. And she told me, do not do it that again. I said, what? People found my number and said, da-da-da. I'm like, she said, I don't remember no tribe. We all mixed up.
Right. Just stay out of the Slapaho tribe. That's all I'm saying.
Slapaho
you don't want to be in that tribe. But moving on.
So, I watched my grandfather heal people, but it was interesting because when people weren't sick, they used to think that my grandfather was uneducated, institutionalized uneducated. And it was because he couldn't read, write, or drive. Anywhere he went, he could get credit in the market. He just scribbled some kind of initial his name because he couldn't write. Mm-hmm. And they was like, yes, sir, Mr. Thelwall, just pay us when you get your check. So he accumulated about close to 200 acres of land. So I started going out in the woods with him, and I used to get bark and roots and things like that when we got sick, and he couldn't tell me any rhyme or reason why. So I went on a journey for 30 years studying the chemical compounds in pretty much anything I put in my mouth and how it interacts on a cellular level in my body to fight chronic and debilitating illnesses. So it's been my life, all my life.
Yep. And that comes out too. Like we were working out, and I was like, man, I feel low on energy. He said, well, yeah, grab a couple cubes of watermelon. And what I love about Ladell is like he don't just say, all right, get some watermelon. He's gonna break it down what's happening. He's like, because you need the glycogen.
Glycogen.
The glycogen, and then he whips off these words. He's like, because you need the glycogen, man, because the glycogen is going to break down and get into your cells a lot faster. But you don't want to do this and you'll do that, the raisins and that, because then the sugar's not going to. I'm like, all right, watermelon. All I heard was like, get some watermelon.
No, it's real, and I
But
think that's
again,
a
it gives me the
beautiful thing.
vision of what's going on in my body.
No, it is. No, it is. I'm with you on that. When I first met him, and he started talking about, the autonomic nervous system and how phase 1 and phase 2, the liver act, and then, proteolytic enzyme. It's like all of these things, but they stick with you, and you're like, and I'm able to kind of like articulate this to my family and friends in a way, to
Are they
help
receptive?
them. No, the most people that are not receptive is the closest people to you because they're blinded by your light. Yeah. Sometimes we can be blinded by our own light,
Sure.
But the people closest to you are blinded by your light, homie. So they never want to really accept and grasp what the Creator did to you that they feel like they didn't get. And that's unfortunate, but that's our realities that we deal with, and we deal with that in our community as melanated men too. Because it's like, if I hate my light, why would I ever love yours?
Oh,
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Why would I ever celebrate your light if I hate mine?
that's the internal thing, not being able to appreciate the internal.
That's
thing.
right.
You can't-
It all
that's the
goes
whole,
back.
you can't love if you don't know how to
It all
love
goes
yourself.
back, man. The 5 power structures in this system, in this matrix, is political, economic, education, social, and spiritual.
Yep.
And spiritual being the last one and the most important one, because without that ingredients, you can have eyes and not see. You can have ears and not hear. How come we got 2 of everything, but we got one mouth?
Man, it's one of the biggest thematic things that gets left out in school.
But I'm talking about, they say 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 nostrils, 2 holes. You know what I mean? But on a spiritual level, we have 2 sides too. You got polarity. You got the dark and the light.
Facts.
We don't think. See, once again, we have to step outside this physical realm shit and come to where it's real at. Because now that's the only way you can heal.
That's right.
When that's the only way a person can really heal from the trauma that we deal with in this matrix.
So, what do you think about this thought? And tear it up, both of y'all, if you want. I'm open game. So, when people start talking about they're going to meditate, and they just go in a room and they just, from square one, go and meditate. To me personally, I think that's somewhat dangerous as far as what you hear. Because you're going to hear something. I truly believe if you're by yourself and quiet, you're going to hear something. My question is, what are you hearing? Because to me, again, what's on the inside is going to come out. But if all you're doing is listening to certain kind of music, watching TV, reality shows, blah, 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 that's what's on. That's what's in you. Because Johnny's heard me say this before, things come in through your 3 gates, right? Your ears, your eyes, and what you speak. That's how what gets in, and what gets in eventually is what comes out. So if you're the person like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start vibrating, and they love throwing the words around. I'm gonna get on a different frequency. I'm gonna get quiet. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but what are you getting quiet to though? Because if you're not putting the right stuff in, I think you're going to get the wrong stuff out. Do you feel that I'm kind of off with that? Or do you feel I'm halfway? What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with what your premise on that, because I recognize that, like, number one, meditation is like school. I don't think it's for everybody on every level. Like, what's your good meditation is sitting still. Mine could be meditating when I'm on my bike and I'm cycling in the woods. That's my meditation. I'm still sitting, but I'm moving.
No, movement is
You
an
see what I'm
actual
saying?
type of meditation.
And so
It's one of the
consequently,
10
I
types.
think we get caught up in saying, well, I got to do it like they did it.
Right.
No, you got to find your own path. And that's why when you go to a doctor or a lawyer or anybody, they say, welcome to my practice, because they practicing on everybody that walk in that mug, man. Excuse my language. I like to cuss. The only reason I cuss sometimes is because our people are under a curse.
You ain't got to explain.
And sometimes you can't. You got to get someone who's under a curse attention by cussing, because we under a curse. So sometimes I might say motherfucker, man, like wake up, and then it becomes like a soapbox thing. No, because
Every religious teaching speaks that the Creator will present themselves in the language that that person speaks. So you got to do that, brother.
if you're
You don't
not
have to explain
palatable,
yourself.
if you're not palatable to the people, it just is what it is.
Facts.
But sometimes you do have to explain, because maybe y'all, I know y'all understand it, but the people listening may not. Because sometimes, like, that's the thing. You can have this truth sitting in your face, but you're like, oh no, I'm gonna die anyway. So would you rather die on your knees, on your back, or die on your feet? I'm gonna die healthy. If I know I got to get out of here, but when I get out of here, boy, Baggs was standing strong. Or Baggs was in the bed? No.
Right.
Come on, like, let's think about that. So the meditative piece of it is to me something that's universal for whatever you are on in your path.
I agree.
And I think that toxic in is always going to create toxic out.
I agree. I agree 100% with that, Stevie. For me, because I deal with so many individuals that have some form of a chronic or debilitating illness, I'm like a sponge. I suck everybody's issues or abnormalities in myself. So I have to run to the woods, ride bikes, sit still on a rock, things like that, just so the Creator can cleanse me.
That's true. Actually, that's true. You do be absorbing that crap.
Because the truth be told, I got a really well-known, famous bishop. And sometimes even the bishops and whomever may not understand your purpose. Even though, because they look at it like, I don't want to listen. They trying to tell me what to do. It's not even about that. It's about I'm just a vessel and doing what the Creator designed me to do. That's number one. So when he says, he calls me up because he wants me to come actually to Milwaukee and spend about a week with him, because I've helped people with a lot of different situations. And he said, where are you? He calls me Santa Claus because I don't come up there enough. I said, I'm in the woods riding bikes and hiking. He says, why every time I call you, you in the woods?
In the woods.
And I said, because this is where God speaks to me. This is where the burning bush is at.
Hey.
He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything.
Now, we have to balance things for our listeners sometimes. Not everything's funny. It comes off funny, but it'd be real, right?
No, it's real. And
y'all don't go in the woods and start lighting crap. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's like we got to balance it. You know what I mean? So don't go like, I need a burning bush and start lighting, and then California wildfire. All right, so just
no, man, it's a full transparency moment, yo. Like, when I met you, bro, I did not think you was this much of a crazy. Like, this man out of control. I met him, we were all in the business meeting. Yeah, well,
he go cartoon on you, man.
I will go cartoon
I love
on
it,
you.
man.
We were talking about, y'all can't see her now. We got my man Charles in the building. He started Freaknik, and we was talking about Freaknik, and I had these girls start hollering at me in the car, right? And I did something trying to be funny, and they was like, you too goofy. And they took off. And what's so funny is my wife, one reason why she did not like me, we argued we went on a blind date, and we argued the entire night. And one of the reasons she didn't like me was I was too goofy. I was
No. No. He brought tell the real reason. You bought a coupon to try to pay for.
No, I didn't.
That's what it was.
But you know what's so interesting about that? She married him, number one, and she found something that was interesting about him that no one else had.
Yeah. And it was something deep enough internally to get past all that external goof.
But that joy is real to me, though. Like, is. Like, if I make you laugh or feel good in any kind of way, I truly, truly, truly feel fulfilled. I really do. And the reason why, because I love everything that Stevie's about. But one reason why Stevie and I look up to Ladell, too, is because it really does start with the cells. Like, even depression and stuff. We talk about mental health so much and all this stuff, but a lot of people don't understand that your heart is a second brain. It literally has neurons running through it and stuff like that. So if those things are misfiring or they're cloudy or disconnected in any way, you're looking at depression. You're looking at all kinds of things. And that starts with your diet. It starts with what you're feeding yourself.
Stone, what doesn't attack that in today's society? I go back to everything's dead. The food, the TV, the music, right? Everything is dead.
On purpose,
so if everything is attacking those on a cellular level, your autonomic nervous system, that works automatically without your discretion. Yep. So like when I go speak, I ask somebody, hey, if you can stop your heartbeat, raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand. Right. But I thought you was an atheist. Or I thought your God did that. No, I mean I thought I was self-created. No, well, you find out real quick that you're not, right? And so the beautiful thing about what you're saying, man, is that like the inner piece of it is, oh man, I'm gonna let Ladell talk because I'm very passionate about this, man. Our people are under an attack for the longest. Because here's my thing: if your hair is perpendicular, why would your health be flat? You're the only people in the world, man, who hair raise up to God. Everybody else hair go down, but you don't see your power. Like you, the only people in the world who heal from the sun, but you let CNN and Fox tell you to stay out of the sun when Corona hit.
How do you think a tree grows without the sun?
We just talked about it. You know, we just talked about it. But like you jump higher than everybody else, man, but you won't elevate your thinking.
Yeah, well, putting dead things. Boom. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
We got a few clips. But.
So interesting. If you you were speaking on putting dead things in your system. If you put a plant with dead soil, what is a plant going to do? It's going to die. So in my eyes, that means we're going to die. So you can die with your quality of life, making bad decisions. And that, like Stone was stating earlier, it starts in the gut, because if you don't give the gut what it needs, the gut can't provide the brain with what it requires to not be in the sympathetic nervous system. When Stevie was talking about autonomic nervous system, all he's talking about, this whole thing is about all this brain abnormality stuff going on, ADHD, all this stuff. And it is a lack of nutrients, like minerals, like magnesium. Your brain requires magnesium to tone down the sympathetic nervous system. That's where anxiety and depression come. So you're giving it this dead stuff. Don't you think you're going to make dead decisions?
And then when somebody's speaking life to you, it's not palatable because you're so used to consuming death on every facet. So if I tell you to eat kale and asparagus and you used to eat McDonald's.
But they say it costs too much. It costs more. McDonald's cheaper than.
But these same people got a Mercedes Benz and they'll put 93 in their car, but 87 in their body.
Well, again, it's made that way. Though.
Like you can get a new car, but you can't get a new body.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody, it was interesting. I'm not going to hog up everything, but I was telling one of my clients today, if you could just, because I deal with a lot of, well, I won't go there, but I deal with a lot of people that have a lot of abnormalities. But it was interesting because I said, we'll start a protocol. Just follow what your car is doing. You always put good gas in it. You always change the oil. Check engine light come on. You're going to go and make sure that you put whatever amount of money to get it fixed, because it's your means of transportation where your body is as well. So you got to check engine light. You need to change the oil. So that's changing your eating habit. You need to put quality fuel in it, because you're not going to put dirty fuel in a nice car. You do the same thing with the body.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question that I want to hit both of y'all with, because the one thing that's always difficult when you have all of this information, all of this knowledge, it becomes overload. People don't know how to process it, so then they back off. Ladell, the one thing that I'm taking from you is like you've got a grounded understanding. The fact that you go to the woods constantly to reconnect with nature, to process, that's a grounding that people lose. That connection with the natural, with nature in general, that's where it begins to even be able to understand the stuff we're talking about. And then Baggs, man, you've been spitting a whole bunch of it's been like existential level knowledge stuff. Two opposite sides of the same exact beam, but that middle point for people to really understand, how do I put this into practice? How do I make time to ground myself? And then how do I allow myself to grow through my enlightenment, to let that light
Savant. Savant. Let me jump in here, bro. The only reason I'm saying that, let me jump in real quick. Because, that's an intelligent question, number one. Usually the people who ask the question already know the answer. But the people don't know this answer, because what you're saying, bro, how can I make this functional, right? How can I day to day? So the number one thing I'm going to do is go to an old Bible verse that people might know. Write the vision down and make it plain.
Boom.
So the prefix to the word authority is author. When you author something, you give it authority to come to pass. So don't go make a little vision board on January 1st and paste some shit you cut out of a magazine. I'm saying write it down, because if you write it down and you look at it, you have to hold yourself to that standard.
That's right.
Your mate, your cousin, your daughter, your sister, they can't say, hey, daddy, you said you wasn't going to eat that bullshit. They can't say that. You got to say that. That's my point. No. So when you write it down, though, bro, like, people know what they have to do. Most people know, man, I got to stop smoking. Man, I got to stop fucking. Man, I got to stop whatever I'm doing. I know I got to slow this down. Most of us know. It's the matter of, are you going to make the decision to do it?
Now, on a biological level, there was actually a study, and the reason why, because sometimes they do this study on like how technology is great, then how technology sets us back. And so they did this whole study of people who typed things and then people who wrote things. And literally your brain was wired and remembered things a whole lot better when you physically wrote them down.
Yeah,
there's an actual recording that goes on in your brain, man. As opposed to, and they said when you're typing things, your brain is actually putting the responsibility of memory into that device.
I do it all the time,
which is why you don't
man.
maintain it in your brain. This is why writing is so important. And we're actually losing that skill.
Losing that skill, losing picking up a book and reading a book versus reading it off the computer. I was with someone, I I don't remember who it was, but I was writing in cursive. I like writing my notes in cursive. And they're like, I haven't seen that in a long time. When I was growing up, you had to write things down because we have photographic memories. Even if you can't pronounce a word, you'll always see it in your mind if you write it down. There was times when I was growing up, and I'm sure the people that's in my age group, like the gentleman over here that started the Freaknik, he knows about this. We used to have to go places and remember numbers by our head. And we could sometimes have 50 numbers in your head, man, that you could call your friends.
Yeah.
Now you have to.
I literally have to look up my mom's number sometimes still.
Wow.
Because you put that responsibility and memory on it.
I remember when we had to use MapQuest. And
Right.
if you couldn't print it out, you had to memorize
Remember
the
how to
directions.
use maps.
Right.
You literally wrote the directions.
Man, I'm at the payphone like, hey, yo, look, you said turn right at the Burger King.
Right.
Yo.
So that takes us back to that indigenous.
Yep.
You know, the indigenous living, we had to know how to get to point A to point B because we didn't have all that.
Yeah.
But because we gotten so institutionalized, we really kind of paralyzing our brain to a certain degree. That's why I think it's important to get to the nature, and even if you're not a nature lover, you don't like bugs and things like that, go somewhere and listen to the ocean or whatever.
The woods isn't the only part of nature, man.
Yeah.
The beach is natural.
That's right.
Shoot, find somewhere that's windy. Air is natural.
Hear the trees blowing. You know,
Going back to what I was saying earlier, and I mean, I appreciate that connection point because that's exactly what it's one thing for me to say it. I'm on the podcast every week, so they hit me. If I say it, ain't nobody listening to Johnny no more. Plus, we brought you here to actually give us what it was.
Well,
But
we need y'all to listen to Johnny so our numbers can continue to go up. But moving on.
a systemic thing for that whole conditioning thing that we're talking about putting all of our reliance on technology and it being the dumbassification of our future. Like, take what restaurants have done. Like, there are no more words on the keypads now. Like, if you want to order a Big Mac at McDonald's, it's a picture of a Big Mac. So your brain doesn't have to connect with that stuff. So we're literally like it's systematically being perpetuated through society on purpose. Henry Ford actually was part of this reason here in America. He actually made a pact with the United States government when he was starting his factories. He told them, I don't need thinkers, I need workers, which is why our educational system has been designed to spit out drones so that you can be a worker. I mean, you can look all that stuff up in Google. I won't go all down that path. But the important question I want to ask now is, I personally feel like, and this is the pessimistic side that Stone says I'm too negative, I feel like we've hit that catalyst, that point that we can't really go back. But the grounded version from Ladell, I know you feel like we probably can. What's that path backwards? How do we get people to realize that you've lost that connection to the doing, that you're allowing your reliance on everything else to affect your focus on your internal? How do we get people to spark a thought back that way and get away from just doing it? Because I can talk to my computer. I talk to text my notes a lot when I can't write them. So what do we do?
So strength is in numbers. If you put one thing that in your body that serves a purpose, the next day put 2, 3, 4, until you get to the point that you put more good things for a purpose in your body, every organ, every cell in the body will work efficiently. You will think efficiently. And when you start thinking efficiently or efficient, you will want different things in life, like peace. You don't want to allow your brain to run fast pace and make fast decisions and just grab the first thing you see with your eyes, but you'll start feeling what your body needs. You get to a certain place when you really get involved with your health on a cellular level. It's interesting because you get to a place where you can see your thoughts, you can see everything, just like Stone said earlier. When you're working out, he could feel his blood vessels and see it. You become that. But you cannot become that if you don't give your opportunity for your cells and organs to give them these quality compounds derived from Genesis 1:29. God put every herb-bearing seed, every tree-bearing fruit. You know it. All you got to do is break down some of the compounds in it if you desire, and you'll realize everything about your whole makeup will start changing. Everything. Thought pattern, everything.
Now on the reality side, the size 11 shoe in the butt. And that is, all this stuff is great, but you have to remember too that the brain is wired to find the path of least resistance. It's a survival mechanism. but we get it mixed up. So now we're looking for everything to be easy and comfortable. And there's a reason why the phrase is fight. And this is something I just started implementing in my own life, partially with the workouts, but I tend to play games on my phone now that I look back too much. Because I'll look at my times, especially when we started a new project together, and I realized I have to be off this phone and doing this stuff. And I didn't realize I was playing games that much. And it was actually hard to not play the games. And this verse came to me, it said, fight the good fight. And all of a sudden it just came, I said, there is no fight. It kind of goes to your whole, there's nothing good that's fast or
Fast
cheap.
is good.
I say, there is no fight that's comfortable. There is no fight that feels great. There is no fight that's not a struggle. But there is a good fight. And so whatever it is that I need to do, whether it's working out, whether it's eating right, whether it's going back, right? It's a fight. And that's the accountability part. That's our whole thing is accountability. I don't sugarcoat anything. All this stuff sounds great.
I know that donut, bro.
But it's a fight. And you just that's the one part you just have to accept.
Yep.
It just is what it is. There's no hack to it. There's no shortcut around it. It just is what it is. It's a fight. You have to make the decision. Do I want to fight this good fight? Once you make that mind up, first thing of the success thing, choice, right? Yep. Once you make your mind up, you make your choice. You say, okay, I accept the fight. It's a wrap.
No, then you got to write it down.
Yeah, well, then you're going to do all that stuff, though. You're going to do all that stuff.
That's right.
Just accept the fact that it's going to be a fight.
It's many paths to righteousness. Let's say that. It's many paths to righteousness. That's in a verse. It don't say one path to right. It say paths with an S. And because of that, I recognize that to your point, Stone, like I look at it like this. Many are called, few are chosen. So everybody not going to get this shit. Everybody's not going to choose, man. And when I first became aware and conscious of it, I wanted to scream from the mountaintop, hey, y'all, liberation is over here.
Right.
Come on.
I know the feeling.
Y'all don't see this shit.
I know the feeling.
And then you like get hit in the head by 5 times by people who you love with it. Here comes Steve with the philosophical. But damn, Steve, how you still making millions? But damn, how your health, how you look 20-something and you 40-something years old. What's going on? What I'm giving you the recipe, the blueprint. Would you take it? No, I don't want to take that because I'm fight or flight. You say fight the good fight, but it's fight or flight too for a lot of these people, right? And so at the end of the day, man, many are called, few are chosen. Now we're in the age of Aquarius. Everybody's called because everybody has access to these podcasts and this technology and the information is there. But making the information functional is not there because you're not chosen to receive it. But maybe even because of your discipline ages ago. Eons ago, when you was ruling the world, and everybody was bowed down to you, and you was maybe, if you the original man, you might have to take credit for the original sin.
All right, let's take one more step down.
All right, I'm gonna take it.
One more step to the depth. One more step into the depths.
All right.
Many are called, a few are chosen. Right? I agree. Now I'm gonna break it down to my understanding of it, and then you debate it or whatever or credit. I believe that in that verse, many are called, a few are chosen, doesn't mean you don't have the choice to be chosen. I believe few are chosen because few choose to make the choice to be chosen. Because if you just say, because somebody just throw it up, you know what, I just wasn't meant to succeed.
Yeah, but
I just wasn't chosen to live on the other.
I'm going to add to that, Stone. Don't you feel that each individual should take a moment and find out, what is my purpose in life?
Of course.
Absolutely.
If you find out what your purpose in life, a lot of times that will give you the balance mentally that you need because you'll start some form of a journey to live your purpose.
Hold on. Pause. Did you just agree with him?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If we
Why
go
wouldn't
back to episode, I think 2 or 3,
Why wouldn't I?
when I talk about purpose.
No.
Okay, yeah, go on to correct
Context.
me.
You got context.
Because I could have sworn
These two together,
that this mother sucker over here was like, there is no purpose. You're not born with a purpose. So clean me up.
I'm finna clean
and
you
clarify
up. I'm
me.
clarify for you.
For once and for all.
So what's these two right
he said,
here?
I looked at you, I was like, did this fool just say?
Call me a fool one more time. So this is what Stevie just said. Stevie just gave you a whole layout. You went through that whole diatribe and didn't have to because you literally said the same thing he said with more words. Stevie said what Stevie said was, I'm giving you the blueprint. Are you going to choose to do it? No.
Right.
Ladell said find your purpose and then decide to do it. Right. I said that you aren't born with a purpose. You have to discover that and then choose it. That's what I said.
Okay.
You said that, oh, you're born with this whatever. And I was like, no,
he was trying to catch you off guard, man. Is all he was trying to do.
Hey, bro, we doing that.
Because what he wanted to prove to me is that you don't have any forms of brain abnormality.
No, despite my 700 grams of sugar a day,
right.
I'm still fighting on all cylinders.
And I'm glad you said that. So to clean, and just so y'all know, I spilled a little bit of water on this table, and it's bothering me. But
that thing is waterproof. That's why it's insulated. You're fine.
So just to clean up on that, let me say what I think I meant as far as born with a purpose. I think people are born with a propensity towards a certain purpose than others, and then you still have to choose.
Yeah, I've told you before. I'll accept that.
I agree. I'll accept that.
I see. No, but I do see what he's saying because I see what he's saying because, I mean, if I think the verse was Jeremiah, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. That allegory is dope because it's like if the Creator knew you before you was formed in your mother's womb, then I had to know what the plans I had for you too. So that's why I see both sides of it because you still though once you get the blueprint of that purpose goes back to what we were saying, you still got to decide to accept it. So that's
a good word for it. I think everyone's born with their own blueprint. Maybe we won't call it purpose. I think that sets a little bit better. You do have a blueprint you were born with. Are you
choosing the path of least resistance right now? Is that what you're doing?
No, he just clarified it. Sometimes people put things in better words than I do.
Absolutely.
I
no, I like that. I mean, I will say this. Some of what y'all have just said, I don't necessarily subscribe to. And we won't go down that whole path. However, it still converges because the many paths thing is 100% true.
1,000. I see it in so many areas of life with family and friends and all this. Like, the reason why they killed Malcolm is because he recognized that, look, just because I pray to this way and you pray to this God or Jesus or whatever you pray to, that doesn't mean that we both not getting slaughtered. That don't take away the fact that we both dealing with poor institutions that are feeding our people lies and death. Like, damn that. So when they was talking about that kind of unity, that path to righteousness, no, we got to cut that off. Yeah. So they get rid of Malcolm, they get rid of Huey, P. Newton, Marcus Garvey, and they don't tell us about Mansa Musa. They don't tell us about Haile Selassie. So why would you not have a traumatic vision in your head of who you are? Why would you not be grounded inwardly when you go to school and the first thing they tell you is that you're a derivative of a slave? They tell Kirsten and Piper, hey, you a master. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. And I tell Pookie and Cavassier that, man, look, homie, you are a slave.
I love how Tom Hanks came out.
I was about to say that.
I know you were. I felt that. I was like,
I saw that too. I thought
I love how he was genuinely
But somebody would accept it more from him because his ice colder. Because you see what I'm saying? And that's where we got to get to the point of recognizing our opulence. Like my after school program, See the Foundation, we teach these young people to have confidence, not confidence. We want you to have confidence in who you are. When you walk in the room, shake that hand, look them in the eye.
That's right.
We got a program called Power to Knot. You want a knot of money in your wallet, in your pocket, but you don't even know how to tie a knot on the tie.
Oh, man.
You want a baby in your hand, little girl, but you don't even know what to put in the purse. But we don't teach our children these principles because we've adopted everything that everybody else says and does. And then we wonder how we still left out in the cold when everybody's copying off of you.
It's funny you say that. Man, all right, I'm gonna tell this story, and I mean it kind of weaves back into it because of the whole knowing who we are aspect of it. First day of school for my son was 2 days ago. Just yesterday, he had a situation when he was trying to get on the bus, him and one of his friends, and it was a little white kid who was in the way, and they asked him to move. The little white kid called my son and his friend bitch niggas. So my son came home and shit. I mean, this is third grade. Right. So I'm like, all right, I'm dealing with this the second day of school. Like, what's up? I had to call my dad. Like I talk because I remember the first time it happened to me. I hit dude in the mouth. I can't teach that to my son now. Right. Because my son doesn't go to the kind of school I went to. And my dad said the most profound thing to me. He said, "Who are you?" And I'm like, man, I ain't call you for all this, man. Like, what is this? And he's like, your grandfather was a king. I am a king.
That's right.
You are a prince. Remind your son that he is a prince, and to remind people to watch how they speak to him. And behind those words, one, my daddy told me, you can't just tell them to have the words. the words reminds people to know who you are, but it reminds you of who you are. But also be dangerous enough to defend that when they challenge who you are as that person. And that rocked me yesterday because a lot of it does come back to we've forgotten so much of who we are as a people. We can't go inwardly because we don't have that connection to what our inward used to be at that point. Okay. Which is what my whole question was, is how do we get back to that now?
Pause. All right, I needed silence because I needed that to marinate because that was good.
Okay.
Question, and be honest with me. Where do you think that white kid got that term "bitch nigga" from, though? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, from my limited knowledge, that term wasn't created in white culture.
No, he got it from a Jewish guy who's over A&R for the record labels that sign hood niggas that used to sell dope and kill our people. That's where he got it from. Because if he didn't pay him,
a problem with that.
If he didn't pay him to produce these records, our babies and them children wouldn't hear these records.
See, to me,
I'm with you on that, Stevie.
I'm with you. But to me, that's second phase. Because know why? Because Stevie and I, we met recently, and I've already just connected with his brother, right? But I can tell you right now, I don't care how much you pay Stevie Baggs Jr., you're not going to make Stevie Baggs Jr. believe what Stevie Baggs Jr. doesn't believe about himself. You're not going to make Stevie Baggs Jr. say anything Stevie Baggs Jr. doesn't want to say. So I don't care how much the check is. I can't put it on this. And this is where Johnny and I are going. And we are slowly working our way to the episode, the rebranding of Black America. Because we have got to stop blaming everyone else. Absolutely crap has happened to us. No one is taking that away.
Okay.
We have been horrified victims, but it's our responsibility with what happens next. So to me personally, there's a whole lot of stuff I don't blame the white man for. There's a whole lot of stuff the white man does to me, but what am I going to do with it? The white guy don't tell me to put in my song that I'm about to blast you, fool, and you look like me. He might encourage me to sell it. He ain't put the pen in my hand, though. That's where I am.
But see, we not.
And a lot of people don't agree with me. A lot of people think I'm too shallow.
No, I don't think that. I think you're right. Like, you can't point the finger at everybody else and don't see the three coming back at you. Let's be very, very clear. What I'm saying though is we not fighting a war on race. And when I say Jewish, man, I'm not talking about you can be black and have a Jewish spirit.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not talking race either. But go ahead.
So what? But no, we said black and white. Like, you was talking about you can't put it on the white man or even the system. Let's say the establishment.
Sure. Okay.
All I'm saying is that you can't it's the system. Then there's no accountability to you as a person.
What I want to make sure that I take from this, because this is my accountability aspect, is that I'm pulling what you're doing and what you're doing with your foundation with the kids and teaching them who they are as people, where they come from, knowing that and having. I love that confidence thing. I know, right? That's some epic shit right there.
That's a T-shirt.
And then at the same time, in knowing who you are, being able to maintain that is 100 dependent on everything Ladell is saying. It's like what goes into you is going to supplement and perpetuate what you know you are. And I think with that foundation, we have to figure out a way to extrapolate on it, to continue to, and then distribute it as common knowledge, because it's not common knowledge now. Common knowledge now is what you said. McDonald's is a lot cheaper. Burger King is a lot cheaper.
Right.
That 4 for 4, man, that 4 for 4 is easy, but that salad is expensive. Like that, we got to get away from, man, that's harder to do. Because if we want to perpetuate our confidence and who we are as people, we got to make sure that what's going into us internally becomes the root of what we're doing.
That's a good point. I think that, so what's wrong with us trying to allow the way we think to say, what takes precedence over any and everything else in life? What does it? I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me the question.
I'm asking you.
Oh, man.
Over any and everything else in life.
Such an open-ended question.
What takes precedence?
Yeah.
Over anything in your whole life.
And is this just for me personally?
You personally. Because I don't even want to go to Stevie. He already know.
Oh, man. This changes from day to day. Mine right now is my family security is what takes precedence over me. My family security.
Honestly, and I'm not saying it because you're sitting here. I mean it. is my health.
There you
And
go. Stephen was going to say the same thing. The only reason why is that's when you really know somebody's been hanging out with me.
With you?
The reason why I say that because health takes precedence over any.
I get it 100% because my family security can't maintain itself if my health fails.
Right, and
I
it's the mentality. It's the same
100%.
reason why I can't be broke. It's like I can't be a blessing financially if I'm broke, but it's not even financially. Like I can provide resources, more things. If I'm broken,
there you go.
There's nothing I can do for anyone. And for me, my blueprint is I'm here to be a blessing.
So you just
to other
answered
people.
my whole question because self-preservation and securing my family is fully dependent on my health. Because my wife says it all the time. Like if I work, 60 days straight and I don't go to sleep and I collapse, I'm no good to them.
Right.
So in me saying my family security, I'm saying that my health takes precedence without saying it. But I made the mistake of not going to the root. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
like
the root.
again, even with me being someone who thinks about this stuff, I didn't even go to the root cause of it.
Well, it answers your question. You said, how does people?
And it's to go to the root.
Is go to the root.
That's hard. That's hard. I came up with the thing because even the food stuff that we're talking about that will kill you from providing for your family, it's all based on a system, too.
Absolutely.
So that's why I say I was getting to the point that we're not fighting a war on race. We're fighting a war on economics. We fighting a war on ideas because the people who control the money control the ideas, which controls the images, which controls the actions. So that's why I was going with that. But I think it still ties into what you was just said, right? I mean, all of this stuff is interconnected and synergistic in and of itself. When you really start to unpack it and you really start to talk about one of my favorite words I got from Ladell is homeostasis. It's being in balance, man. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have balance in your life, you might as well go get in the grave. Steve Jobs died at 56, man. His estate was worth $9 billion. And he couldn't pay nobody to rent his cancer.
Wow.
Feel what I'm saying? He couldn't pay nobody to get rid of that cancer with $9 billion.
Right.
So what is more important? You got to say the health. You know what I'm saying? It's like laughable to even question anything else about it.
And I know it seems like we talked about a lot of stuff, but again, I want to keep you guys focused. Everything we're talking about is still based on inside out. Mm-hmm. It's starting from the inside and working your way out.
My grandfather used to say this, and I'll be very quick. He when we used to go out in the woods, he used to grab these roots and bark, and he said, "Son, when you get up to a right old age, you need to continue to take these roots." And I said, "They bitter," and they was like real nasty. And he says, "Because that's your root. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have no root, you're going to be just like your granddaddy sitting on a recliner watching Fred Sanford and Son."
Now, wait a minute. There's nothing wrong with Fred Sanford.
I know, but what I'm saying.
I hear you.
That ripple.
Would you rather have Fred Sanford or Bed Sanford?
This guy.
I'd rather have Bed Sanford myself. I mean, I love Red Possibly. Hey, listen, I love Parks and Red.
Hey, man, I hear you, bro.
There's a whole lot of them in there.
There's a whole lot of them, man.
I told you before Stevie and I got on with you, man. I said, he's like, man, Stevie and I just rolled.
Man.
Nah, so closing thoughts or words for our listeners and our viewers. Do you have anything for them?
Yeah, just vision is more important than anything. A lot of people have perfect eyesight and no vision, man. So when you get a vision, you can manifest some tremendous things in your life. Shalom.
And write that joint down.
Mine is consume for a purpose. Whatever you consume, make sure it has a purpose on a cellular level.
It's so funny you just said that because I wanted you to talk about Choose real quick.
The smoothie.
The smoothie, because it's a juice. It's half juice, half super salad. But the reason why when you said that just now is I have to get a mindset, right? To eat for purpose, not for pleasure, which is going back to institution and economics because they make the food palatable to us to release these dopamines and endorphins so that we can eat it because it tastes good and get addicted to the sugars and that. So I have to break that cycle. And this juice, so just know that it's dope. So can y'all just remember that part before I say what I'm about to say? First time he gave it to me, he said, "Hey man, I'm telling you, when you drink this, man, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna make you feel good. Your energy's gonna go through the roof, man. You're gonna be crazy in bed and da 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 da." And so I took my first swallow. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I thought I was supposed to drink this thing. I'm like drink chewing, drink chewing. And it tasted like earth in a jar. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. It tasted like earth in a jar. So I was like, ooh. But I was already of the mindset that I'm gonna have to develop a new mindset.
Exactly.
So I accepted that.
Yeah.
And so I picked one flavor that I don't think there's any lemons in there, are there?
Yeah.
Are there some? But I picked something that was bitter, and I just said, okay, lemon rind. And I literally said that with every swallow. I was like, lemon rind. As long as my brain was able to connect
Process
to a taste,
it,
I was able to kind of get through it. And granted, I'm not gonna lie, because we try to keep everything honest. As amazing as this is, I'm still not that, oh, I can't wait to drink my juice. I'm not there yet.
That's facts.
But I'm also not when I'm done. Like now that I'm done, I'm like, because again, I'm picturing what's going through those nuts and all that kind of stuff is like making a way. And you talk about we got 2 holes. Yeah, man, we do. So
It comes out.
them holes get utilized.
It comes out.
Yeah.
But they walked in today. It's like, man, your face looks thinner. In the gym, he's like, your arm's starting to cut. But that juice, I'm not gonna lie. That juice, I don't care what I eat. That juice is like, okay, keep what we need, and we're gonna get rid of what we don't. And it has been everything. So I didn't get paid to say that. Again, I'm doing this with Ladell right now, so y'all hopefully will see what's going on. So you know this is not just talk, but I like this man so much because, again, he's on the cellular level. He gets to the root of the problem. It's not about a diet. It's not about all that stuff. It's about the root of the problem. So I think I talked about juice as much as anything you want to add.
Not really. We've accumulated over the years a lot of toxins. Have you put anything in your body to get rid of these toxins? Because if you don't, you're going to be thinking toxic. So when you was consuming it, it got to the point where it wasn't about the taste. It was all about how it makes you feel when you get rid of these toxins.
Absolutely.
So when you feel a certain way, it doesn't matter if it's bitter anymore. You're going to continue putting something in your body that you know has a purpose because you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll feel it.
It's the same way though when you drink alcohol. Alcohol didn't taste good the first time we had it.
Yeah, it did, but I'm not gonna.
You know,
but
I know, I speak to me. I just know for me. Yeah,
me too.
you know,
Me too.
and I was drinking like Mad Dog and E&J in college. And, you know, it was different.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't drinking a nice sweet cocktail, a lemon drop.
Yeah, that's what I.
You know,
Don't be
But you know what's interesting, Stevie, is that why would someone drink and they can't even tell me or tell themselves they don't what the compounds in the alcohol is. And then if you find out what the compounds are, acetaldehyde and oxygen-free radicals, how does it interact on a cellular level in the body? Well, it makes the liver sick. When the liver gets sick, you get dizzy and you start puking, throwing up, and having hangovers. That's a clear indication that your body's trying to speak to you because the check engine light has come on. What are you going to give your liver so it can bounce back?
Boom.
So tell us what the answer to that is. What
There's a lot. Nuts and seeds and all that's from the earth.
Right on.
So, but did you hear what I just heard? He didn't say don't have a drink every once in a while, but he said if you just absolutely are going to do that, obviously optimal would be not to, right?
Absolutely. Sure.
Optimal. But if you're going to do it, have the wisdom and the knowledge
There you go.
to know what
So-
to do
Bro,
to
this is
bring things
balance.
back into balance.
And know what's in it.
So
And
in
know
this
what's in it.
moment, I want you to acknowledge the fact that just because I intake a lot of sugar, and you're gonna say that just because my water and my plant-based diet doesn't counterbalance that stuff, I want you to acknowledge that you just said that it can be counterbalanced. That's all I want you to do.
It can be, but
Stop it.
But I'm just saying, you just like I drink 1.5 liters of soda a day, and then I drink a lot of water. Like I don't know if that
There's a
that
caveat.
1 and 1 is necessarily.
There's a caveat.
So for anyone out there that's following a similar protocol to you, that's drinking a lot of soda, what it does is it causes the blood to become very acidic. The more acidic your blood becomes, the stickier your blood becomes. You don't get proper nutrients to the brain. If you don't get proper nutrients to the brain, you're not going to think efficiently. And then the cells are going to die with sticky blood. And if you're not feeding phase 2 of the liver, it can't get rid of the necrotic debris, which is dead cells. And then you're going to start having the largest organ to show you what's going on. And that's called skin abnormalities.
And there's your English vocabulary lessons for the day. So, gentlemen, where can people find you when they're not visiting on
everything. I mean, look, we've been taught to get on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook, but most people won't put their face in a book. But you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. No, yeah, go get the book. Go get the book. You know what I'm saying?
Get the book, but
Go
you
get
can find
woke
me on
and greater
Facebook.
in the game. But you know, no, really, Everything, Stevie Baggs Jr. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, my website, StevieBaggsJr. Stevie Baggs Jr.
Stevie Baggs, what about you?
Yeah, I'm at Ladell Hill, MHS.com. Gmail.com. Also, you can find me on tasteofearth.com. That's a herbal line that I have out. And just keep calling into Stone's radio station. And he'll link you to me some kind of way for me to come in and speak.
Now.
Or a podcast. Okay, podcast. You know, I'm old school. You know, it's interesting, man.
I'll take the radio station. I'll own one.
And before I let you go, it was interesting, Stevie, because you said 40-something. I'm 57.
I know.
That's right. This dude's 50.
And then, but generationally, you could tell that I gave my all my handles. He gave his email.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's
I was sitting there. I was like, man,
I was waiting for him to say.
But in your stuff, I want to take a chance for them to plug your Instagram and stuff too. Like it's Nature's Man, right?
Yeah, Taste of Earth, Instagram, IG, and Ladell Hill Nature Man. They call me Nature Man as well.
Yeah, Ladell Hill. It's 2 L's on Ladell and on Hill. Ladell Hill Nature Man and Taste of Earth. Y'all already know. You can go to lifeonpodcast.com. That's the hub for everything. If you want to hit me up personally, I'm at Stone007 on Instagram and Stone007 on Twitter.
Just Johnny Vaughn, JUSTJONYVAN. And since he brought up old school radio, I can still say it now. You can catch me on Kiss 104.1 weeknights, Saturdays, doing my thing.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all, man. As you already know, man, the more subscribers we get, the more we can get sponsors, the bigger and better things. We got plans actually for you. We have plans, but them plans are going to take some ching, 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 ching. And the only people that are going to give us the ching, 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 ching are the people that see that we have tons of followers and subscribers. So tell a friend. There was a whole lot of nuggets and wisdom dropped in here today. So stuff that'll change your life and change your friend's life. So be that person to sow that seed in somebody else's life. Charles, thanks for the off-screen shout out, homie.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you. All right, y'all. We thank you. We love you. We will see you next week. We out. Inside Out.
So
Peace.
back to what I was saying. What I was saying.